So, ladies and gentlemen, the Test Player of the Year is Mitchell Starc.
Congratulations. What does it mean to you to take out the Test Player of the Year award?
Yes, obviously a huge honour to take out the Test Player. It's probably the format that I've wanted to exceed at the most and put a lot of time into over the last few years. So it's a step in the right direction. I think I've still got a long way to come and a lot to learn in Test cricket. But it's obviously a chance to reflect on sort of the last 6 months at least of how my game's going and direction it's going, I guess.
After starting a year hampered by injury, how much more satisfying is it that you've not only got back to bowling but at such a high standard?
It's sort of been up and down, I think, over the last sort of 6 months. Probably still haven't been at where I hope to be, I guess, in terms of the consistency of my bowling as opposed to where it was sort of 12 months ago before I broke down. But I guess looking back to Sri Lanka, that's sort of a blueprint that I'd like to take into India. And the way I approached my bowling there and the sort of plans we talked about in those conditions. So it's something I can call upon over the next couple of months when we look forward to that challenge. But it's still, as I said before, a lot I can improve on over the last 6 months. And I think the way I've been able to manage my body through the training accident a few months ago, it's been pleasing to get through the 6 Test matches this summer, and it was probably the first time I've done that in my career. So it's nice to do that for the first time as well.
Having not seen the voting breakdown, I imagine you picked a few up, as you mentioned, across that Sri Lanka series and started the South African one. How satisfied were you with your own form in what would have been such a difficult time from a team point of view?
It was pretty mixed, to be honest. It was a tough tour for the team, and I'd gladly give all the wickets back to take a series win over there. It was tough conditions for us, obviously, results-wise, but as I said before, it's something I can probably look back on in my approach to the upcoming Indian series. So obviously things are going to be very different in the terms of it's not a Kookaburra ball, it's an SG ball. The wickets are probably going to be different again to Sri Lanka, but at the same time I was able to take wickets in conditions that probably favoured spin more than pace. So some positives there in a tough tour for the team. But again, I think things on that tour that the whole team can take into this upcoming series against India.
Mitch, one of the things since you've come back from injury that maybe hasn't been there as much as it was before is that new ball swing or in swing to the right-handers. Have you thought a bit about that and trying to, I suppose, get your head around what's going on there? But looking ahead to India, I guess that's more a reverse swing scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. Along with David Saker, the bowling coach, we've looked at a lot of footage and my action hasn't changed at all. So it's probably an indication of the cricket balls we're using this summer. But at the same time, it's a completely different ball going over to India with the SG, and I think reverse swing's going to play a much bigger part than the natural swing over there, as we've seen in the last few series that we've gone to India. It's key to try and get that ball swinging as much as we can naturally up front. It doesn't generally swing for too many overs, but and then trying to get that ball to go reverse while it's still relatively hard. So. It's things we're starting to talk about now as a group. Obviously, we've got a few one-days to go, obviously in Adelaide and then against New Zealand. But I guess at the back of our minds, we're starting to talk as a group, especially as bowlers, about the challenge that lies ahead in India.
You had to go to You had to go to Sri Lanka off, recovery from injury. You had to start this Test summer recovering from injury. Is it nice to think you could go to India with cricket behind you rather than coming off a rehab plan?
Yeah, that's always nice. Getting some overs under the belt and some match time. It is what it is. I was going through a rehab stage before the summer started, and it's worked out well. I've got through 6 Test matches and a handful of one days as well. So the body's going okay. You got to put that aside, and it's a good challenge for a young group moving ahead, and we've obviously won the last 4 Test matches. So the young guys coming in have found it pretty easy, I guess, having 4 wins and scoring hundreds and averaging above 50 or whatever they are. But yeah, look, a big challenge, as we all know, is going to India and trying to win over there in their conditions. So for me, the body's in a good place. The fast bowlers we're in a strong place at the moment. We're having some good discussions. But as I said before, the forefront is these next 4 one-days first and foremost, and then that challenge in India.
Mitch, I think you're the first bowler to win this award in about a decade almost, since Brett Lee. Is this a sort of indication of where the game's at and also a victory for the fast bowlers cartel, do you think?
Definitely a victory. Yeah, it's a batter's game at the best of times. Yeah, look, when you got guys like David Warner and Steve Smith scoring the amount of runs they do week in, week out, and the speed that David scores them, and I guess as often as Steve scores them, I think it's pleasing for Josh and I and the other fast bowlers involved to come in and do our job on the back of that, and we're happy just to go in the background and do our job and take the wickets. But yeah, look, it's a huge honour to win the award, and I think as a fast bowling unit, we'll just keep going about our business in the background and let the Reverend and the captain go about their business.